everybody, it's Shayna with Robinson Repurposing, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys these rustic, shabby chic style DIYs.
Okay, so first up, I found this little $3 clock at Goodwill, and I decided I wanted it to look like white and distressed. And I have never tried this Sea Spray, is what it's called, from Dixie Belle, but I wanted to try it on this because I wanted this to have like a textury, distressed look. So anyway, I mixed that all up, and basically what you do is make it like the consistency of brownie batter, is what I've heard. So I just added in paint and then added in that until I got the right mixture. There are measurements on the back, but I didn't want to use as much as it was telling me, so I just did my own little mixture there. And the only thing on this I would recommend is actually just putting one coat of whatever color. Like I used white cotton by Dixie Belle. I would just put one coat of that color on the surface before you go to put this on, because once it did start to like chip off and make texture, the brown came through, which was totally fine for me because I wanted that look. That I didn't care if it had that, but if you wanted it to be more of a solid white with the texture, you'd want to paint that white first. But anyway, that's all I did here. I just mixed that up and then dabbed that on the stifling motion, and I didn't worry about the screen of the clock because here in a minute you'll see I take a little razor blade and I just scrape it off and it works out perfectly fine. I also didn't worry about having full coverage on this because, like I said, I knew I was gonna like distress it with sandpaper and scrape some of that paint off, and I didn't want it to look perfect. So then I took the Van Dyke brown glaze by Dixie Belle. It's like an antiquing glaze, and I just rubbed that on here real quick, and I took a paper towel and wiped it off a little bit until I got the look I wanted. I just love this technique. And then I took sandpaper, like I said, and sanded it down. And that's it. I scraped off the screen, and that was all for this. And then on this particular DIY, I did not seal the clock when I was finished with it, but what I would do, like if I was gonna sell this or something, is I would take satin polyacrylic and I would just put one coat over top of that Sea Spray painted paint in the glaze, and that's how I would seal this. I think there's multiple different ways you could probably seal it, but that's what I would do, and I know I've done it before. It would work out perfectly fine. So if you did do something like this and you wanted to like sell it or have it to be last a very long time in your home, definitely seal it, but I didn't on this one. And there's a look at how it turned out. Okay, and then on to the next project. This little thing here was, I think, $1 or maybe $2 at Goodwill, and I just took it outside and painted it with one coat of cotton by Dixie Belle, or maybe 2 coats, I'm not sure. Anyway, and then I took Van Dyke brown glaze again on this and just kind of dry brushed it across there, wiped it off with a paper towel until I got the look I wanted. On this particular project, a lot of times I just use sandpaper to distress, but on this I didn't want to because I didn't want those colors, like the greens and the other colors, to come through on this. So that's why I used the glaze, and I love glaze, so I like how this turned out. Okay, and then I had multiple ideas for this. I thought about writing like home sweet home on the 3 hearts, you know, and having like doing that. But then I got the idea of putting little, what are these called? Like little stitch marks. I got this idea and I was like, well, that'll be cute. So I put that on there and I sped this process up, but I was so nervous doing this. I don't know why. I like went really, really slow, and I don't know. This part just kind of stressed me out. I didn't want them to look dumb. But then anyway, I took the sandpaper and sanded them off a little bit because I didn't like how black and bright they were. And then I took these little stickers from Dollar Tree, and wooden stickers, and tried them out. Like I put the pink one on there to see if I liked it. And then I had some leftover paint on my paintbrush that was like gray and brown. You'll see here in the next DIY why I have that on my brush. Anyway, and I just painted those like that and stuck them on there, and they kind of have like a metal look. And then there it is. There you have it. I think it turned out super cute, and I really like it for being that it was like $1 and just paint and then Dollar Tree stickers. So fun to do this kind of a thing with thrift store items. It feels better than buying something new from the store. Okay, and then I took some Slick Stick by Dixie Belle and put on this tray. I found it Goodwill this was $2 also, and it's like plastic. So I knew I wanted to paint it, but I didn't know what colors yet or anything. So I did that slick stick because that'll help whatever color paint I use, whatever type of paint, that'll help it stick to this tray without like peeling off. So anyway, I took the glaze again. I was all about this glaze today. I took that glaze and did the outside, and I didn't actually put another coat of paint on the outside. I just left it white with the slick stick and then just like dry brushed the glaze on there. And then I took some grays and a metallic paint, you'll see here in a minute, and then I took black. I'm gonna put a picture of all the paint I used at the end of this, so if you wanna like recreate this look, you can just screenshot the colors. But anyway, all these colors, and I just dabbed them on there till I got this to look like a galvanized look. You know, you've all seen this before, I'm sure. It's everywhere. People are always doing this to things. And actually, this was not my initial plan. I didn't even really have a plan for this. I just brought it in the house and I was like, I'm gonna figure something out. I thought about stenciling it with like a buffalo check pattern on the inside because I've actually done that before on another tray that somebody wanted me to paint for them. But yeah, like I said, I just do this, keep dabbing. I had some of that glaze left on my paintbrush from the beginning, so you can kind of see the brown in there, which I love. And then I took black in a minute and put it on there. And then a lot of people will go back in with white and put they'll dab some white back in there, but I didn't because this tray was white and I felt like it had enough of the white showing through. So yeah, and just watch this part. And then here in a minute, I take twine and wrap twine around the handles just to really tie it all in and give it that really rustic farmhouse, like, you know, vibe. And a little tip, I took my blow dryer the whole time basically and kept it like drying while I was doing it, because a lot of times on this type of a surface, even though I use the slick stick, you will get like the paint to start like peeling up, especially if you mess with it when it's still wet. Like if you start putting more layers on while it's still wet, it just kind of messes it all up. So that's why I took my blow dryer and kind of dried it as I went. Like here, you'll see actually some of the paint peels off like when I'm pulling that rope around this tray. So I definitely am going to seal this one. I haven't yet. I'm going to seal this with a coat of satin polyacrylic because this will be a tough one to keep that paint on. It'll, like if you decorate with like jars or anything in it, they're going to want to scrape. It's going to want to get scraped off and the paint's going to want to come off. So if you seal it, it'll definitely hold on perfectly fine. But anyway, just wrap that twine around there, hot glued it at the beginning and the end so it would stay. That's all there is to that. And then I don't show in the video, but I obviously did the other handle. I just did the same exact thing to it. Okay, and here's a look at how it turned out. I put it in my dining room and staged it up with some cute little things I had, and I just love how it turned out. I think it really does look like a metal tray now, or at least a lot more metal than plastic. So it's just an idea on that if you want to remake a tray from the thrift store. Okay, and then I took this crazy looking vase and I spray painted it black with this was just like cheap 99-cent paint, I think, from Lowe's or something. And then tip on here, I'm a ding dong and I turned the paint can upside down and then it wouldn't work anymore. Like right here, you'll see, it didn't work anymore. So I took my black chalkboard spray paint, which works out perfectly fine too, because I just wanted this to be like a matte black underneath what I was gonna do. So I put 2 coats of black paint on that, and that was all I did there. Okay, and then I took my leftover mixture from before of my cotton and sea spray, and I just painted it on there, got it real covered with white, and then I dabbed it on. Did this to the front and the back, super self-explanatory. And then I let this actually dry for like 2 days before I brought it in the house to do anything with it, which I would definitely recommend because this is messy, kind of. I would recommend doing it outside too, like I said, but this is messy and I definitely recommend waiting to do anything with it for a few days. Okay, and another tip is I definitely recommend using an old like chip brush like this, just an old junky chip brush, because this basically like ruins your paintbrush. I did wash this off afterwards, and my paintbrush is still fine. Like I'll still be able to use it for things like this, but definitely use a junky paintbrush for this. Okay, and then I brought it inside and I just kind of flaked off what was flaking off. I didn't try to push off anything that wasn't already coming off. I just flaked off what was falling off already. So then anyway, I took the color Mint Julep and I painted this with like 1, maybe 2 coats because I wanted this color. This is a little sneak peek of the colors I'm going to be using for like Valentine's Day and spring. I'm already like just starting to put that stuff out because I don't want to decorate for winter. I'm kind of over all that. So anyway, this is my color like scheme that I'm going with. So this was one of the first things I've used with this color. But anyway, I just got that all on there, let it dry, and then I used glaze on it. And I actually thought I was videoing for the last part, but I wasn't apparently. So I took, anyway, the only other thing I did to this before it was completely done is took that Van Dyke brown glaze and glazed across this whole thing like I did, same way I did with all the other DIYs in this video, and then just wiped it off with a paper towel. And then also on this one, I would definitely recommend sealing it with that same satin polyacrylic or some other clear sealer. And here's a look at how it turned out. I love the texture on it. I love the colors. Those are the colors there, like I said, that I'm going to be using for spring. So there's a little sneak peek of what I'm going to be doing this year for Valentine's Day and spring.